Hello everyone, this is Colin. I'm doing a little bit of an audio log. I would be doing a video log, but my room is a mess right now, and I really would prefer you guys not see that it looks like Hurricane Sandy went around in here. Um, Basically, I'm in this audio log today because I wanted to talk to you guys about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, particularly as a movie, though I'm going to make mention to the book several times, because obviously they are one and the same. Normally, I know I'm talking to you about music or singing some of my favorite songs. But today, I wanted to talk to you about this movie, which is very important to me. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is based on the book Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, itself renamed in America and other places around the world for the sense of matter of the mythical item it represents. The religious groups were not happy that a children's book was referencing a stone which would grant someone immortality, let alone one that could only be created by alchemy, something that the church eventually debunked as scientific magic. Not cited, of course, just my take. It's fantastic. And I'm not simply talking in terms of a cast that was splendidly put together and maintained for what would be 8 films over a long period of time. The movie, and of course the book it's based on, are destined to survive beyond my generation, and I believe become the type of canonical children's books and movie that the Narnia titles, Alice in Wonderland and The Hobbit, have become. To start with, let's consider the beginning of both. From the outset, we can see the child, which is central to the story, is important in the magical realm, which is kind of the story any generation reads about in the fantasy section. But what makes this unique is that Harry is intended to live in our world from the beginning. I think this is a tremendous device which, instead of alienating us from Harry Potter, allows us to realize that he isn't simply someone unwittingly living in our dreary world. He really is one of us. And like when Lucy stumbles onto the wardrobe in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, we are treated to a little sneak peek of the world when Harry not only uses magic for the first time to trap Dudley in the snake's habitat, but talks magic with the snake itself. It's a great thing that's illustrated wonderfully in the film and draws in the viewer. Because we're forced to sit and wait for the next thing to happen, the movie and book cleverly uses the Dursleys' attempt to hide Harry um, Hogwarts acceptance letter as a way of keeping us in the real world and keeping that magical moment alive. The movie uses wonderful juxtaposition of a storm and a tiny little cabin with a large Hagrid to let everyone know what's in store. The movie and the book keep the reader based in a reality because, at least for the first story, many natural things that would be part of our everyday lives are laced with the fantastical. Harry still has to travel to London to Diagon Alley, and I must admit when I finally figured out that the name came from the word diagonally, or so I suppose, it was a fun sideways little joke that made me grin. Harry still has to get money from a fund set up for him by his parents. He still has to get books, materials, clothes, and of course his wand. The treatment of this adventure in the movie does much more than progress the story. It serves to provide us with the culture of wizardry, or at least the first taste of it. Kids are adoring a broom, much like the one might appreciate as a soccer ball or a cricket bat and a baseball bat for us in America. Children and people are dressed in the clothing we're to expect. Everything is made magical but believable, and bits like the Gringotts Wizard Bank and Harry's Phoenix Feather Wand give those shock and awe moments which delight all who watch it. Even the train ride on the Hogwarts Express, which is another way the world stays real and relatable, has its subtle, magical moments, which don't disenfranchise the viewer. Now, I'm going to be a little bit off the beaten path here because I got a little impatient and I'm doing the rest based on my gut, not from pre-written stuff. But once Harry gets to Hogwarts, it feels like any other school. Granted, it is magical, and we see many things like moving stairs and the fact that it's pretty much just a castle, which everyone lives in, that the rooms are really large and the paintings talk, and other things like that. He still has to deal with a lot of stresses. He has to deal with a lot of people coming and going. There's all these different kids. He already sort of has a rival in Malfoy. he makes friends quickly on the train, Ron and Hermione, but they're their own sort. Um, so it really just sort of keeps us based in reality, and they serve as great characters, which thankfully for movie and book readers, or movie watchers and book readers, stays throughout the entire series. um, because of this, things don't seem nearly as crazy as when uh, they're in class, particularly potions, with Professor Snape, and instead of talking about biology or geology or some kind of science that we would come to know, they're talking about potions. Uh, what do you put in a um, was it a polyjuice potion? Um, no, I think that just comes up later in the movies. But I do remember an infusion of wormswood, and of course Professor Snape uh, does put Harry in his place, as does Professor McGonagall. Uh, every moment that seems to be connected to magic, really, seems to have a piece of it that is still relatable in the real world. When they're getting ready to learn to fly brooms, they're still bullying, they're still picking on children, uh, and of course there's the awkwardness of riding brooms, which I think if you're an English person, you may think of being in a private school and maybe learning to ride horses, which I believe used to be a popular thing. Um, so really, that's part of the reason why I really like this movie, and I came to think of all this while watching it recently, and it just helped me realize that that's why these books and these movies are so relatable. But this particular one does such a good job of encapsulating its book in great visuals that I think that's why this one in particular is one of my favorites over some of the later ones. I think without having written word, it'd be hard for me to continue at this point. But what I will say is that there are so many subtle messages in this movie. Um, the point that Harry makes a mistake, um, and Ron does too, when they are trying to uh, go on their adventures to find out about Nicholas Flamel, or um, even just go back to their dormitory, and when they find the uh, third floor, which has the uh, you know uh, the cat and Filch, and they find Fluffy the Cerberus. Um, these are all little things that show, like, okay, because they're magical, they're not somehow perfect. Um, it's one of those things that just really makes it important because it starts building bonds. It shows that we don't have to live in this sheltered world, which we do now, to come out okay. When Ron accidentally, well, I don't know about accidentally, but when Ron makes fun of Hermione, and then they have to go and save her from the troll, they being Harry and Ron, it's a very important thing that um, they go back there, because it's very easy for them to say, well, we need to stay in line, we need to follow, because this is a troll we're talking about here. Even Ron, who doesn't appear to be very logical or knowledgeable in magic, and of course Harry doesn't really know much other than the myths, they both know that a troll is something to be trifled with. So when they go to face this thing, they do it because they're trying to save their friend. There's no glory involved. There's no flaunting of anything in particular. Even the point at which Hermione sort of comes up with a half lie that she went off to face the troll herself is a fantastic little thing that brings humanity to this story that and of course it's all acted out wonderfully in the film, that really can show people that it's, while there are things to be thinking of morally, you should never lie, you should respect your elders and, follow their direction to an extent. There are other things that are more important and to the making of a person. And, it's all definitely so fantastic. The fact that they have a completely new person come into this world and embrace him. You know, these days, we have a similar philosophy, but it's not nearly as constructive. People will just not punish someone for doing something wrong. But when Professor McGonagall sends the kids into detention, obviously it serves as a plot point that moves the story forward. But it also shows that, okay, you can punish children safely and give them the idea that, okay, something's been done wrong. And also, Professor Dumbledore catches Harry when he's adoring the mirror, which shows him his lost parents. He gives him some very sound advice instead of simply stopping him from, you know, uh, taking a look at the mirror, excuse the moment there, or, um, you know, reprimanding him and grounding him. He sort of gives him some really nice wisdom, which is that, you can't spend your life dreaming, you have to live your life. And I think that serves as a statement which really sets the tone for the series, both the movie series and the book series, because there's a lot of that dichotomy in each of the movies. Things become dreams, and then those dreams become reality. And instead of running away from dreams, which are often more than normal people can bear, these students, as they grow up, they get to live those dreams and then deal with them. So, I didn't address all the points that I think make this a great film. And I recommend that you watch it. Obviously, I don't want to talk about the end of the film because if there are people that haven't seen it or read the book, I don't really want to give things away. But it just seems to me that it's little things like this that if you watch it once, maybe as a child, you'll get certain things, and then you watch it when you're older, or if you're a parent, and you'll get a lot of other things that are very, very positive. And these are the kind of things that are reinforced throughout the whole series. So I really give Sorcerer's Stone credit for setting the story up that way. Thank you so much for listening, and I will be more patient next time and make sure to have everything written out so it goes a little more smoothly. I hope you guys have a good day and you enjoyed my general discussion and log about why I think Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is a fantastic film that everyone should see. Have a good night.